Miss Napoli always stole the money. Why'd you let him play? Got to. This America, man.
You know, and it's that time that we now have to break those genres and hip hop off and say, okay, this is hip hop, you know, and this is boom bap, and this is this. So then that way you can choose your genre. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of trying to make that adult contemporary hip hop.
I think like rap MCs that have like the rap genre.
Right.
I don't want to hear that. Turn it off.
Right.
You know,
but somebody may want to hear that. You know? So it's cool, but like you said, have that genre so that that person can say that's the music I want. Well, I want the tight jean rappers, you know.
Tight jean rappers.
That's what I call
But I mean, a lot of rappers are wearing that clothes fitted. I guess if that's the right term, politically correct term to use nowadays.
But there's some who are just tight jeans.
Okay. Alright, now we have this track. There's Games Beyond the Game. Yes. Now, what was the inspiration behind this joint?
I heard the sample. I love the sample.
Okay.
I just went in and threw it on, and I watch The Wire all the time. You know, I got all the seasons, so I'm always watching it, and I just love when Stringer was saying, you know, why did we get into this? You know, there's games beyond this. You know, like, you know, ain't nothing free no more. So I love this, and it was crazy. Tanya B actually wrote a song to it, so she's gonna be singing.
Oh, she sings?
Yeah, she sings. So
okay.
she's gonna be singing on this joint. So yeah, you know, this game's beyond the game.
Well, we're gonna let this marinate for a little bit, and then we'll be back in a couple of seconds. All right, y'all. It's your girl Florida with Kill, and what you just heard was there's Games Beyond the Game. Now, Kill.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to not only give out your contact information, but can you spread some and share some wisdom with the beat makers that are maybe thinking about stepping out there with their production, and or you know, they might not know how to approach it in regards to how to start off in the game?
The only advice I can just give is just keep grinding and believe in yourself. It's the same advice I gotta give myself every day, you know, because it's not like I'm Kanye West or, you know, selling records like that. So there are times when I'm like, man, you know, this thing just ain't popping, you know, but I love it, and that's just why, you know, I never gave up. You know, and even when I got married in 2000, I think I kind of stopped shopping beats, never stopped making beats, but it wasn't until 2000, I guess 9 or 2010, MOP used one of my beats. I kind of got anteed up by MOP for a beat. They jacked me. You know, yeah, they jacked me. But you know, we worked it out, and I was on the phone with their manager Lazy, and he was just like, wow, you know, you really got more exposure from getting jacked than if we would have, you know, put you in the credits or whatever like that. And that kind of gave me the oomph to kind of really get back on my grind, because it was just like, you know, wow, you know, MOP, a group who I love, you know, used one of my beats, and it was like, you know, wow. So, you know, let me kind of get back on my grind. So my advice is just don't ever stop doing it. You know, even if nobody likes your stuff, do it just because you enjoy it. Do it because, you know, you want to do it. You know, and you know, I always believe in taking things from the masters. You know, like, you know, not biting or borrowing or anything like that. But I was reading this interview with D'Angelo a long time ago, and he was like, you know, he goes in the studio and he listens to the masters of his craft, which is Jimi Hendrix and James Brown, and, you know, Prince. And that's kind of what I used to do every Wednesday. I would leave working up here at EAA, and I'd go home and I would just study a certain CD. I would listen to Main Source and listen to how Extra P was, you know, making his beats, and yo, what else was out at this time? You know, who else was dropping stuff at this time? You know, and kind of just studying the craft. You know, so just study your craft of anything you want to do.
All right, now go ahead and put out your contact information, like your website, your Bandcamp.
Right, definitely. willmakebeatswithfood.com. Come through, it's a dope site. I talk about everything from, I have Word Up Wednesdays, which is a devotional from one of my favorite pastors. Yeah, Word Up Wednesdays. From one of my favorite pastors, Jeffrey Johnson, out of Indianapolis. So you can come through, get a little scripture, get a little word to get you through hump day.
All right.
You know, I throw up old classic basketball games. I'm a hoops junkie, so I'll throw up Allen Iverson versus Syracuse from '95.
Does he still play basketball?
Nah, he's out the league right now.
He's not overseas though?
Nah, he's out the game. So, you know, you can come through and catch an old game. You can come through and hear some of the beats I'm making. You can come through and see some of the artists I really just got into photography. So it's a one-stop shop for everything. You know, my Bandcamp is KIL889.bandcamp.com. You know, you can come through. You got Through the Wire 1, Season 1, you got my man K Fanat, his EP, that's a free download, and then you got Through the Wire Season 2. That's a $6 download. Please support. You know, because I know we live in an age of where everything is free. You know, I know people who haven't paid for music for years. You know, but I think the hard part is, you know, support artists. You know what I mean? It's $6. You know, I tell my people who go to strip clubs, yo, before you make it rain, just put $6 aside for your man, kiddo. You know, for my blue collar workers, yo, take lunch one day. Don't buy no McDonald's. You can't even get a value meal from McDonald's now for $6.
Oh yeah.
You know,
$6, almost $7.
Yeah. So just for my blue collar workers, for the unemployed, even if you can't buy it, if you like it, just help me get the word out. Tell some people about it. So that's kind of how you can get at me. KIL889@gmail.com if you want to get at me. So.
And you said your upcoming, in regards to the next installment of the Wire series, is that you're gonna have MCs covering your beats, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that should be coming out when again?
Prayerfully, you know, when you're dealing with MCs, it could take forever. It could take forever, but prayerfully sometime in 2012 should be a dope year. I've got my man K Fanat. His album coming out, Right Back at It, all produced by me. K Fanat used to be signed to Hydra Records back in the late 90s, had a song called Zoo York, Blowing Up Spots, another 88.9 alumni, a kid called Roots did those joints. So we did his first album. I got my man Driz Low out of Philadelphia. I did his whole album, The Missing Element.
What about Vegas?
Vegas, oh yeah, that's coming. Vegas' album, You're All Welcome. If y'all don't have it, The Gray Area is an album that we dropped a year and a half ago, which is crazy.
That's a dope album.
Yeah, so definitely get that. VegasWorldInc.bandcamp.com for that. And we got his follow-up, You're All Welcome.
Okay.
We're almost done. We recorded 6. We got 6 more to do. Cool. That'll be a free download. I got an MC from Philly called Tara, who's coming out, which is gonna be bananas.
Okay.
That's gonna be sick. All my stuff is gonna be sick, but I kind of took a little more edge on her because she was telling me how a lot of dudes in Philly were fronting on her because she was so nice that they didn't want to rock with her and they didn't want to give her beat. So I kind of had a little edge, a little chip on my shoulder, like, okay, they trying to play you, so let me. You know, and I was letting cats hear the beats the other day, and they're like, yo, her album's gonna be crazy. So her album is gonna be crazy. The Unidentified Objects, which is my man Driz Low and Cleb One out of Philly. I got my man Calm, who's a poet out of Baltimore. We're doing a joint together. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody because I literally work. I got my man Kenny Pistol out of Queens. We're doing an album. I'm trying to get my man Osei Moreland over here to finish an album. My man Sakani.
You just busy.
Yeah. We got a dope joint coming out. Me and my man Sakani, who's another Morgan alumni. He wrote the joints, all the rhymes in that MTV joint, Carmen, back in the day, with Beyonce and Makai and most stuff. Yeah,
I remember that joint.
That's an MSU alumni right there. So yeah, got a lot on the plate.
Wow, Morgan alumni doing it big. Okay. Now I have 2 quick questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So you go. My first question is, because you're from the, I don't want to say the old generation.
Nah, that's cool. I'm from the old school.
Okay, because I don't like making people feel old.
Nah, that's cool.
Okay, so since you're from the 90s era of hip hop, you know, everybody call that the golden era.
Right.
Who are you feeling now as an MC? Even if they are from the 90s, because you know Raekwon still makes tracks, Ghostface and things like that.
All right. From the 90s, I'm still feeling. You know, a lot of the rappers. You know, one of my favorite MCs is Sadat X.
Oh,
you know, I love Sadat X.
You know, he was on, what's that show, Made on MTV?
Nah.
Yeah, he coaching somebody how to rap.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
I gotta go TiVo that or DVR that or something. I gotta find that. But Dot X's album, Black October, was crazy. You know, Ray's Only Built for Cuban Links was crazy. I mean, a lot of the cats who came up in the 90s, you know, are still doing it, you know. So yeah, but Sadat X is probably one of my favorite, you know, underrated MCs.
Okay, now what about now in today's generation?
There's
so many of them.
There's so many of them, and I was explaining to my man who was always telling me about Kendrick Lamar, who I think is dope, but I just think, you know, I was telling my young dude that when I was coming up, you know, when somebody said, yo, here's the next person, it was Jay-Z. It was Big. It was Nas. It was Snoop. You know, so in my era, when you tell me this is the next one, you're essentially telling me that this is the next voice of hip-hop. And no diss to Kendrick Lamar because he's dope, but I just don't see that. I think the dopest MC in the past 10 years of 2000 is definitely Fonte from Little Brother.
Fonte, okay. And he can sing too.
Yeah. I'll tell you it was funny because I wasn't big on the foreign exchange. So when I heard their new album, I was like, yo, where's Fonte? My man was like, yo, you know he sings. I'm like, yo, this is him. You know, but I think Fonte is real ill, like out of all the dudes. So I'm definitely feeling Fonte. And I'll probably get my hip hop, you know, card revoked for this. I like Drake.
Drake?
I think Drake, well, let me say this because I see the look on your face.
No, I was about to say something, but go ahead.
I think when I first heard Drake, that, you know, when I first heard the mixtape So Far Gone, I really thought he could spit. Like, I really thought he had a lot of lyrics. I think by the time it came to make his album, it was more kind of R&B versus the hip hop. But I like Drake's music for what it is.